what's up? I've been doing a lot of beading, but I haven't been posting a lot about it. So I thought what I'd do, instead of like taking you through building something, I'd just show you 5 different lighter covers that I recently made, plus a 6th that's one of my older ones for comparison purposes. And let's go over a bunch of different design features and just kind of look at some colors and stuff and see what happens. Let's get to it. Well, here's all 6. This is one that I made way early on, and you can see it was I was still learning about my beads and what colors I could have and things like that, and it's kind of rough, but you know, it's the one that I use the most. It is starting to get a little worn out though. The leather on the bottom starting to separate. I had a real big creative spurt and said I just want to make a bunch of lighter covers and explore some patterns and colors. So the first one I made was this one right here. Now you can see solid pieces of color going from a very dark red all the way up to a very light yellow. So all warm colors. I like this weaving pattern. I did this on my mom's lighter and on the hanging beads, and it turned out pretty good. It's a nice solid piece, and it looks good from far away as well as up close. But I don't think it has it doesn't invite close inspection like this one does with the fades and everything. But it's cool. I like it. The next one I did was this. I tried to kind of redo this one, but I wanted to try a couple different things, and it kind of turned out you know, there's pieces where you're like, well, I did this, you know, and I'm glad I did it. I learned a lot, but I wouldn't do this again. And so there were some things I learned. So one thing I tried to do was I tried to use a lot more different colors. And I don't know if this gets picked up on the camera or not, but I actually used 24 different colors of beads in the fade. And I found out that, you know what, the eye just doesn't care. I had super problems in any number of ways, and eventually just, you know, did that. The other thing is I didn't want to have I wanted to have something that wasn't so symmetrical as a bounding white. So you see this one, you get this almost a hexagonal. It's just shy of being a hexagonal. This one is just kind of this weird kind of Pac-Man kind of looking thing. And the reason I did that is, if you notice the difference, the reason that it's different, if you notice, each one of these colors in here is kind of like a diamond shape, if you can see it. And really, when you look at all these guys, they're kind of a diamond shape. You know, you can see that there's these diamonds in here, these little quads. Well, in this one, it's just 2 beads for each color, and it's vertical like this. Now I could have gone the diamond or the angled shape like this, but I wanted to try a vertical line. It causes this big point right here. And where I put it with respect to the white, I wanted it poking in there just to see what it would look like, and that's what it looks like. And you can see I could have poked in one more maybe and just had 3 whites here and just a little bit, and that would have been even more dramatic. Much less white here, and that's how that worked out. Now the fade, I tried to fade purples up above, and that turned out pretty nice. The red fade did not work very good at all. It was really disappointing. I just cannot seem to find a color in between this red here and this freaking dark pink. I'm gonna go try and look again and see what I can do. Now I took my learnings from this and said, okay, well look, I'm gonna line up. I'm going to do the same thing here. Instead of doing these diamonds, I'm going to do these vertical bars, and I'll try and get it so that it lines up, and this is the effect that you see on this green one right here. Now this fade was really a fade from dark to light to dark of green, and the whole thing's freaking green. I love the color scheme. It turned out pretty darn good. And it turned out pretty much the right length too. These other 2 guys, you can see I came up a little bit short. My hope is that as the leather stretches out, it'll choke up a little bit. Of course, if that happens on this one, it's going to be too damn long. Anyway, the green's really nice, and again I went with these verticals. And so you can see that if you try and line it up, you get this kind of effect right here. And even though I went with 3 beads for each one, I only had, I think, like 7 colors or something like that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then descending, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 total colors in this fade from one to the other. And what made it nice is, you know, I'm starting to learn to choose these things. So the next one I did was, you know, all these guys, I'm always going from a dark red to a dark purple. I never do anything between purple and red, no colors. And I said, well, I'm going to make a piece that's all it focuses on. So I started with the dark purple, faded all the way to a dark red, all the way through the reddish purples and stuff like that, because I had these colors and I wanted to try them out. The other thing I wanted to try out was, what if I dump the white and fill in with a different color? Well, that's what happens. I don't like it. It could work, but it's just this white in here really offsets everything and stands it out from the rest of the piece, and really kind of breaks up the pattern, right? So it says, hey, I'm doing this down here, I've got a break in my story, and then this is my next story, and I break, and then I got this final little story at the top. And here you get story, 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 story. It just, it's too much. It's too much going on. If those had been white, that would look a lot sharper. You see what I'm talking about? But I thought I would try this once just to confirm for myself that white's the way to go. And I'm that way. Now this final piece, very exciting. You notice here I do these little near hexagons, and then I chop and I do the border, and I said, well, what if I did, instead of doing that, I flowed and I made these kind of these teardrop looking things. And that turned out really nice, especially when I said, okay, well, I'll fade all the way to the darkest brown that I can. So this is all browns here. So I'll fade to the darkest brown that I can, then I'll put these little white diamonds in the middle, and then I'll do just the opposite on the other side, and then when I get to this white, I'll again start with dark brown and fade out to this isn't actually white, this is a near white. You can see there's a bit of difference. This is like a very pale beige, and then I also did a fade at the edge. This kind of motif, and this one's obviously pretty distinctive for the others, but it's still got this idea of these bars that you're doing, and all the different things that you can do. You can just let your mind go nuts on this stuff. It's a huge space to mine out, and I'm going to keep doing some stuff with it as I go along. And I need to let all this stuff percolate and think about doing some more stuff. That's the original one right there, and then these are all in order of progression ones that I made to explore different parts of this. Really helped me grow in my understanding of what works and what doesn't, who I am, and what the beads are trying to tell me, and really cool stuff all around. I can't even explain it. Pretty cool stuff. So thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of this. Give you some ideas of your own. Some directions to explore in your own search for truth and beauty. And have fun beading. Salute.